In the depths of Neverwinter Wood, elven guardians protect the ruins of Old Sharandar, the ancient heart of the Ilian Empire. Though the ruins are now so overgrown as to seem but wooded hills, we elves of Ilian wish to reclaim our lands and heritage. Unfortunately, our people have come under attack by trolls and wicked fey creatures who plunder the relics hidden amidst the ruins. I ask you to travel to the ruins of Old Sharandar within Neverwinter Wood and stop the plunder of our past.
I'm back for another Neverwinter video. This one is going to be the start of a new series about the lore of zones and campaigns of Neverwinter. Before we get started, I want to say, if I could, consider clicking that subscribe button. You know, only about 4% of viewers of these videos have subscribed, and it really helps out. Also, just reapplied for a YouTube partner and it's been accepted, which means I could do channel memberships, which can give you guys cool emotes and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. Let me know. If not, then we won't do it. Okay, now on to the rest of the video. This one, with the release of Neverwinter Sharandar Module 20 just on the horizon on the 16th, I figured let's talk about Old Sharandar, also known as Fury of the Feywild. Fury of the Feywild picks up shortly after the main storyline. If you're wondering, the Feywild is a separate dimension. I think that's an easy way to put it. Realm, whatever you want to call it. It's a separate dimension to the prime material plane, which is largely where Neverwinter takes place. It is a mirror image of the world that Neverwinter takes place on. It is a mirror image of the Forgotten Realms, but if people never lived there. So it's full of nature and all of that. That's why they're, I don't know, some of the prettiest zones in the game, both Old Sharandar and the new one coming out soon. Anyways, it tells the story of New Sharandar, which is, I guess maybe before New, we talk about the city of New Sharandar, we should mention Old Sharandar. Sharandar was a city of Ilian elves inside the Neverwinter Wood, you know, just outside the city. The Dread Ring is also in the Neverwinter Wood, if you're wondering about zones that technically are in the wood. And that's where you visit at the start of the campaign. Actually, both campaigns start there. There was an ancient elven city in the woods. Over time, it got destroyed. I'm not really going to talk too much. It's not really pertinent to the module itself. But just know there was an old elven city in the Neverwinter Wood, got destroyed. The elves there fled into the Feywild, where they built up New Sharandar. I'm going to read an excerpt from the Neverwinter campaign setting book from Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. For those that don't know, Neverwinter, Module 1, Fury of the Feywild, and Module 2, Shadowmantle, were all based on this book. Many of the Fey who left Faerun in the past age traveled to the Feywild, where they continued the legacy of the Ilian. For a time, these Ilian Fey were content in their new home, but over the generations, they came to long for their forebears' land in the mortal realm, and for the cultural heritage they had left behind. So when the planes fell into alignment once more, and the ancient portals opened, they set out to explore the world they had lost. The opportunity led to the birth of New Sharandar, a military outpost some distance from where the Ilian now live in the Feywild. New Sharandar was built in the ruins around the portal on the Feywild side. The effort wasn't without complications, however. Before erecting the outpost, the Eladrin had to drive away a band of dark Fey. Thus, New Sharandar is fortified both within and without, to defend against incursions from Toril, the planet that Neverwinter takes place on, and the rest of the Feywild. Though a relatively small outpost, New Sharandar is the source of the Eladrin activity in the Neverwinter region. Standing in a Feywild forest, far less dense than the Neverwinter Wood, New Sharandar consists of structures that are little more than log cabins in the ground or tree houses in the branches, far less ornate than the ruins of old Sharandar. Armed sentries stand at nearly every vantage point, watching for trouble. The Fey Knight, Marisara Winterwhite, spends most of her time in the mortal world, restoring the ruins of old Sharandar. For those that don't know, Marisara Winterwhite is the main quest giver of both Sharandar mods. She's kind of leading the rebuilding of Sharandar. So that's the backstory. What happens in the module? Well, it starts out, we get a request to go check on the old Sharandar ruins, which are being overrun by dark fae, trolls, redcaps, nasty creatures. When we get there, we found out that not only is the portal open, but New Sharandar inside the Feywild is having problems of their own with dark fae. Some dark force is trying to destroy Sharandar. And that dark force was the Fomorian king, Malabog. The boss of the Malabog Castle dungeon. The second boss, I should say. The big, ugly dude who pretty much gets one shot these days. Side tangent about the Fomorians. They used to be an incredibly beautiful race, the most handsome of all giants. However, over time, the Fomorians' heart became twisted by a lust for power and magic that drove them to try to conquer the Feywild. They sought to enslave its inhabitants and take their magic for themselves. The Fey ultimately fought back and subjected the race to a curse, which warped their body to reflect the evil within their hearts. So, since then, the Fomorians and the Fey have hated each other and been at conflict. The Fomorians, like a lot of Dungeons & Dragons monsters, are based on actual folklore. Interestingly enough, the leader of the Fomorians in actual folklore's name, Baelor. Like the big demons from Dungeons & Dragons. I find that kind of interesting. So Malabog, he is actively trying to destroy New Sharandar as an attempt to take over the Feywild again, like they did years in the past. Malabog's plan for domination over Sharandar are varied, to say the least, ranging from outward attacks from redcaps and quicklings and cyclopses and trolls and all manner of dark fae, to corruption from within. Malabog's greatest ally and head general was the disgraced elven sentinel Celadane, who was a well-respected person in Sharandar until he was corrupted by Malabog and used to serve him. Malabog wished to enslave the elves of New Sharandar to take over the Fey Crossing portal so that he could then send his minions into the Prime Material Plane as well and take that over maybe. Also, of note, Malabog did align himself with the Lich Valindra Shadowmantle, who at this point was still trying really, really hard to destroy Neverwinter. She hates that place. If you want to learn more, I highly, highly, highly recommend reading the Neverwinter series by R.A. Salvatore. It is a fantastic book, and it gives you a lot of backstory. These books were made as a promotion for Neverwinter to coincide with the release of Neverwinter. And if you just want pretty good fantasy novels and some backstory to Neverwinter, those books, I highly recommend them. Anyways, Valindra Shadowmantle gave Malabog an Orb of Dragonkind. And now an Orb of Dragonkind, if you don't know, is a magical artifact in Dungeons & Dragons. It allows you to control a dragon. Ooh. Which is how he has control over the dragon Fulminarax. Now, unfortunately for Malabog, he was eventually defeated by us, the heroes of the Sleeping Dragon Bridge, as we're officially known in the lore. In case you didn't know that, your character, you, are officially the hero of the Sleeping Dragon Bridge. So now you can tell all your friends you are part of Dungeons and Dragons lore. How does this relate to New Sharandar? Well, one thing I want to point out, the new zone launching on the 16th with Mod 20, the Ruins of Malabog, is very, very, very similar to a zone that's already in the game. The Realm of Malabog section of Old Sharandar. In fact, they both have the Tower of Celadane. They look a little different. The new one actually has original artwork, or original models, whatever you want to call it. Well, the old one was a reused version of the tower that explodes with spell plague stuff from the main story, if you remember that. The Joseph Linkletter stuff. The Old Sharandar one is just kind of a reused asset. But it is indeed the same tower. You can even find Celadane's gravestone on it. Now, this new zone being set in the ruins of Malabog Castle means this likely takes place a long time after Fury of the Feywild. You see, time in the Feywild works different than in the Prime Material plane. Time in the Feywild is ambiguous at best. You could travel to the Feywild. Minutes could be seconds. Or minutes could be centuries. It's all kind of wibbly-wobbly. Strange, to say the least. Anyways, but after the fall of Malabog, a group of hags calling themselves the Odious Court are beginning to work against the Fae of New Sharandar, which at this point has built itself up into a real outpost, like with stonework and all of that. No more just little tree houses. Their goal is to take over the Arcane Reservoir, which is a fount of magical energy. In fact, one of the lairs in Old Sharandar was actually in the Arcane Reservoir. All right, and that's basically it. You know, Fury of the Feywild, first Neverwinter mod, actually quite simple storyline-wise. Not very complex. It's your typical, there's a big bad, hero, come and save us, kill the big bad. There's not a lot of layers to it. It was very simple. All in all, it was a good mod. Sad to see it go, but I also like new stuff. As you all know, I am a lore nerd, and I love getting new stuff to read and to watch and to experience. Anyways, I'm gonna keep doing videos like this. I'm gonna do it for a few more zones. Maybe I'll start picking some classic zones and do some campaigns as well. If you like this, leave a like, subscribe, please. It really helps out. Ring that bell, maybe you'll get some notifications. I do stream Neverwinter on Twitch every Wednesday through Sunday, twitch.tv/Bryce Loves Gaming. Remember that Neverwinter Sharandar comes out on PC February 16th. Might actually already be out by the time this video goes up. Might actually release this video day of. I'm not sure yet. If there's a zone you would like to know more lore about, leave it in a comment below. I'll make sure to read every single one. And also, if you are interested in more Neverwinter lore, I will leave a link down in the description to where you can purchase a PDF copy of the Neverwinter campaign guide, which has a lot of stuff from the original game in this book. This book was made for the Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition role-playing game, but like I said, Neverwinter, the video game, was actually based on a lot of the stuff in here. So if you want to know more, it's a great read. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you in the Feywild.